Good morning, everybody. So this morning I was kind of putting a message together and kind of seeing what, obviously today is Mother's Day and kind of what that means for all the moms around us. We know that there's a lot of good ones out there and that we need to give a lot of recognition to and praise to, that they are who they are and who they are for our kids or our families or communities. And it's important to recognize them because they are probably the most essential ones in our area, and they deserve that, because I think if it wasn't for them, they're half the stuff, 3/4 of the stuff probably wouldn't get done of what we're needing done anyway. So, um, you know, obviously for in today's age, the responsibility of the mom has certainly changed. It's gone from someone who is, a caregiver in the home and, keeping obviously the family in line, keeping everyone taken care of as a caretaker, a health inspector, a counselor, if you will. But now we've seen a mom turn into also to more qualities than what she was before. She's now a teacher. She's now a principal. She's now uh, I, probably a lot of a disciplinary type of thing, because she realizes just how wild her kids might be at school. And we've been blaming it on the teachers for some of us, but anyway, you start seeing different qualities of the mom start to change. And this is kind of a unique time for a mom in this sense, because now she's taking up more responsibility than she ever has before. Not that she never wanted those responsibilities. I'm not saying any of that. What I am saying is, now it's almost like our situation in our government and all this. They've just put that responsibility upon you. Plus, you also got to juggle everything else that you've already been doing anyway. So we've started seeing that kind of stuff, and so we really notice now just how essential a mom is to our environment. And we start to realize nothing really gets done without the mom. The mom is probably the one who is probably the most essential in a family unit. Not to take away from the father figure, but what I am saying is the one who would nurture them up, the one who would pretty much train them up in the way they should go, and when they're old, they'll not depart from it. You think about this in the sense that it wasn't the father figure that brought Jesus. God looked for a woman who was the perfect fit for Jesus as a mom. Jesus needed a mom in this life. And so God sought out Mary, who was highly favored, right? But look in the scriptures, and once Jesus is kind of started off and going, nothing's really said about Joseph ever again. But Mary, on the other hand, Mary's the one that follows him. Mary's the one that keeps up with him. Mary's the one that's continually being the mom in the scriptures. And so it doesn't strike me funny that there's an importance in that, and God sees that. God makes it known in Scripture, makes it known to a mom that you are more essential than you think. And so there is there's something really a great quality about a mom, and even in our churches. Moms are really the only ones that can make our church a church home. Guys would be fine with just having a church outdoors in the parking lot, right? But the mom is the one who makes a church a home. It takes a mom to decorate. It takes a mom cleaning. It takes a mom, preparing everything and meals and scheduling that, whatever kind of qualities you have in your church. Look into it, and it's usually a mom that's behind the situation. Moms are pretty much the backbone of why churches have even probably expanded as far as building wise and far as body of Christ wise. They're the ones who nurture and I mean the qualities or the gifts of a mom are probably more exceeding than a man's qualities for certain. Also, let's think about last week I talked about a finished work. A finished work. And what is a finished work? And it's finding God's rest in whatever you do. That'd be a finished work. So for a mom, has a mom found her finished work or found her rest in this time of situation where we're in our seclusion? I think it's harder for maybe for women to find a peace in this time when this quarantine thing has been kind of going on. It's harder for a woman to find, or a mom to find her peace in that. Men seem to, I don't know, for me, I guess speaking for myself, I've enjoyed this time. I've actually gotten just listening better. I mean, it's I listen to God more, I should say. I stay in my word as much as I possibly can, and it's been just a great quiet time, if you will, for me. But now, in another sense, for a mom, I can understand how it could be a burden. I can understand how it could be not necessarily a burden, but a trialing time, because you think about it now, you're never alone. Your quiet time consists of teaching the kids now. Your quiet time when they were usually at school or usually doing other activities or something like that, now because the sports are closed down, all that other stuff has been closed down, and so you've stepped up into the role of filling their extracurricular activities. And so your quiet time is probably gone or diminished. So you see that, and I want to ask you, everyone, have you found the rest in this time? For me, yeah, I've picked up on it a little bit. Probably not as much as I should. But I'd ask this in a way that, is our church a finished work? Is our church a place where well, let me put it this way. How essential is our church to our community? How essential is our church to our family? And how essential is our church to ourselves? I mean, you specifically. Is our church essential to you? Is our church a finished work to where you can go and seek rest? Is our church a spot where you individually can go and you can just find God's peace for a time of day and rest from your labor from the week? I've asked my wife, and we were talking here lately about, what is our church going to look like from here on out? You know, is it going to look like where all of our people, or all over our congregation, is going to go on a mission trip? Is that our true desire, that we would see our congregation be on fire for God so much that we're all going to go on mission trips? I mean, is that really what we want? Is that really what we're seeking to find, that everybody's just going to start jumping up and doing whatever they're doing for the ministry, for the kingdom? We're all busy. We're all, getting involved in our communities. Is that what we want for our church? And I'm not saying that that's not a wrong thing. But I think we've really done some searching and asking God about, what is our church going to look like when this thing blows over, if you so to speak. But I got to really asking God, and he showed me. He said, will your church just simply find rest? Because I put you in a finished work. You've been placed in a finished work. Jesus said himself, it is finished. When God created everything, he said it was finished. It's funny how we've been placed in a finished work, but we keep working like we're trying to finish it. So why is it that we have the desire to keep working so much when God says that we should labor to find his rest? That's it. And so that's why I bring this up, is what will our church look like? What do we want our church to look like? And I finally think I've hit it a little bit, is I would just simply like our church to be a place of rest. That we go do our normal things. We go do all those things for the kingdom during the week. and we go and minister, we go and mission, whatever you want to call it, however you feel like serving throughout the week. But on one day, you would say, I just need to go rest. And I'm going to go rest. That's it. And I think that's what I think our church needs to be looking into. So is our church a resting spot for you? Is your church a resting spot? I should say it that way, is because not our church isn't the only one. So if you have found that church, do you pray for your church? Do you lift up your church in a way that you would continue to be that light or that resting place, the hope of which people are looking for? So will our church be the same after this? And I pray no. I pray we're not. I pray we don't. I pray we don't do the same things that we used to. I pray that we've seemed to change up some ways of things. But in a sense that I pray that we do it out of rest. We do it from a resting standpoint, not a striving standpoint, right? Not a working standpoint. But I also ask, will our lives be the same after this? I'm afraid not. You think about what our country's kind of looking at this point right now is, we're still operating. People are at home. Grocery stores are still being supplied. Packing plants are still processing cattle. You think about grocery stores are still have food on the shelves. I'll say that. And so really it puts into perspective of who's really essential. Is it all these people that we furloughed, or all these people that we've laid off? And will businesses start to see that, well, we can operate without having that many people? Man, it's a sad outlook for a lot of even my kids. I start to think about what will they be doing from here on out? What will they occupation wise? How will we train them in a way, or bring them up in a way that they will be essential? They will be seeking out those qualities of an essential job. And so that's kind of, I think that's something that we need to be seriously thinking about. Are we teaching our kids to be an essential member of the body? But I think it all boils down to the mom. Because the mom is the one who will start them up and start showing them a way of essentialness. So I pray that you have a blessed week. I pray that you've got maybe some wisdom this week about how essential a body is. But I want you to know something. God considers you essential in His kingdom, or else He wouldn't have called you. And He said that everyone's been called. He's created you, and you are essential whether you like it or not. And so I just pray that you would take hold of that today, to realize that you are a need even to God. He needs you. He'd sure like to have you. And if you haven't made that choice today, I pray that you do it today. So God bless. Have a good week. We'll be talking to you soon.